We've got all of this versus this.
This is gonna be cozy.
It will be cozy. What's up, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things.
Just finding some leveling blocks.
Collectibles. Nice. So I'm out here on a quick overnight camp trip with Mike, and check out our trucks. Tacoma, looking naked. Mike brought his Tundra, which always looks like this, just a simple Diamondback. And we're camping completely differently tonight. No rooftop tent, no problem. So this Yakima rack that Mike has on his Tundra is actually the one that has been mounted on my truck for the past couple of months, ever since Overland Expo. And one thing that I really like about it is that I was able to remove my tent without taking the tent off of the crossbars. There's a very easy latching mechanism, and I was able to just simply pop all four mounts and lift the tent off and store it in the garage. So kind of a pretty cool feature compared to my older rack. Now, before I walk you guys through my super elaborate camping setup, Mike, can you show the people how you're going to be camping tonight?
Yeah, I got a cardboard box.
Literally, cardboard box.
Yeah, so I spilled some diesel back here. I brought a sleeping bag and a pad, actually. So the idea for me here is this is my daily driver, and I basically just came out with only what I have. Like, clothes I'm wearing, no extra clothes, no extra nothing, but I did cheat and I brought a sleeping bag and a pad. But this is just to protect the pad from the diesel. And I'm gonna be sleeping in the Diamondback.
So I actually slept underneath my Diamondback a long time ago. If you guys want to check out the video, I'll leave a link for it right up here. But my camping setup, although I do not have a rooftop tent, I brought a ton of gear and might as well show you guys now. So first up, you'll notice I do not have my full-size spare anymore, no more roto packs, and only one set of max tracks. Kind of lightening up the load a little bit here. I need to actually remove the stuff from my C4 swing out to put the Kimbo on, because this swing out needs to fit between the side of the camper and the legs. So that's why I took that stuff off, and I found that the truck rides way nicer, obviously, without all the weight back there. So I may end up just kind of running a setup like this, and instead of a full-size spare, I'll just invest in a really nice tire repair kit. I should be fine. It's a lot of gear. Perks of not having a tent on. The Diamondback actually works like it's supposed to. So my accommodations for the night and for us to hang out in are one of the new Free Spirit hub tents. It takes up a lot of space because it is a pretty big tent, but with a long bed like my Axis cab or Mike's Tundra, it fits just fine. So let's set this up first. And we're done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that mini struggle there. This tent is a little bit different than the old hub tent that I kind of tested out a little bit in the past, but this new one, once you get it set up in the way that it is now, it's going to be a lot easier to break down and then set back up. I had to make sure that these pull tabs were actually coming through this hole, so that's why I struggled a little bit. But essentially you just pop these out on three sides, push the one up in the middle, and this side is all open. So there's no support here because you don't need it. I even put the flooring in, which I'm already getting dirty, put the light strip in across here. And one of the cool things about this new hub tent is that it is tri-layer. I'll get into some more of the features in the future, but we have some things like a stove pass-through, in case you want to run an actual stove in a tent like this. They also offer it in a larger version. This is like the 4-man. They also have it in a 6-man. So I have tri-layer in the areas that count. And this door, I have it rolled up right now, but there's also a tri-layer door. So I'm gonna kind of set up this ground tent for sleeping tonight. Now for sleeping arrangements, I could go like crazy bougie and blow up an air mattress, but I don't have a single person air mattress. So I'm just using this sleeping pad memory foam that I got off of Amazon and a 0-degree bag. I also brought 2 pillows and a regular blanket. And then if I really want to go all out, I have a diesel heater too. It's honestly not very cold out for November 14th, so we're kind of lucking out on weather. Probably won't run the diesel heater tonight, but we'll see how it goes. Now, to kind of go along with the hub tent, I have 2 new ready lights from Free Spirit Recreation as well. This one is very similar to their older version, but this one has some new features. Like I can set this in the sun and let it charge with the solar while it's still in its case. And then I have a smaller version as well, which I might actually set up because we're gonna lose sunlight at about 4:45 tonight, which is a little bit too early in my opinion. And then for warmth and hangs, I finally got my Hal fire pit. I have not fired this thing up yet, but we tested a prototype that Mike had the last time we went out camping. I got serial number 007, 0007 actually. So we'll get this thing ripping once the sun goes down. Last but not least, I have this beast of a fridge that I'm going to be testing out for probably a dedicated video here in the near future. This is the Iceco APL 55. Kind of drastically different from the fridge that I'm used to using, and I got this thing filled with drinks and food for tonight because I think I'm going to cook dinner. Now I'm hot from setting all this stuff up, but I'm going to dial everything in, get everything perfectly set up, and I'll check back in a second. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of all this. Mike and I didn't plan this, by the way. He was planning on filming a video of sleeping in his Diamondback, so you can find that on his channel at some point. I planned on bringing all of this stuff out because I'm going to be switching to the Kimbo here probably this week. So that is, it's kind of like high camp, low camp. So let's run through it. So we have the new ready lights over here. Those all disconnect, and I mean, I'm not even going to show you guys the functionality of everything. The hub tent, this thing is all set up. I got the lights going. Amazon mattress, 0 degree bag, pillows. I mean, I could really turn this into like a mini apartment if I wanted to bring a ton of gear, but I figured if it gets windy or something, we could kind of bring the fire over close to this and just sit in here in the shelter. So I really like the hub tents. I don't know how much use I will personally have for one, but I'm going to test this thing out whenever I can. Next to that, we have a smaller ready light. This is a new version with one disconnectable light there, which you can magnet to the side of your truck. This one I like a little bit more than the big one because it packs up smaller. Diesel heater on the ground. It's going to run into a battery in my tent. Over here to go along with the fridge, have a solar panel. It's an 80-watt solar panel, and it'll connect right up to the new Iceco. We, of course, have the Hal fire pit. I'm excited to finally own one of those and be all warm tonight. I am borrowing Mike's jet boil. What is the name of this?
Genesis Base Camp?
Yeah, that's right, the Genesis Base Camp. So 2 burners. I'm going to cook some dinner here. And yeah, the new fridge. Now this new fridge is plugged into a little battery on the back of the unit here. And that battery is just kind of magnetized to the side there. So it's kind of like a standalone unit. I of course had it inside of my truck and just put it out here for right now when I'm going to be cooking. I'm already noticing some pros and cons to this thing, which I will get into in the detailed review. It is big, it is heavy, and it actually will not fit underneath my Diamondback, but it fits in the back of the truck just fine. Those are like some of the cons I notice immediately. The pros though, there are plugs all over this thing on each side. The user interface is really nice. It is a dual zone unit. 2 little clips here pop off. So over here I could turn that side into a freezer and then run this as a refrigerator, or vice versa. And then if I remove the center panel here, the screen changes and it will become just a single zone fridge. So that is the food that I have in here. And I think that is the whole overkill setup. We've got all of this versus this. It will be cozy. Dinner is served. Got some like Italian beef penne. I think the pasta could have been on a little longer, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, pasta's slightly undercooked.
It's the elevation.
Kind of good though. Nice work.
So dinner was great. We got the How campfire going, and Mike and I are talking like we always do. This topic comes up all the time, and I know I mentioned it in the last camping video that Mike and I did together, but we're really considering doing a podcast together. We may do it as early as next week. So stay tuned for some like Instagram posts. If we actually end up recording something, we'll both let you know when it's gonna go live, where it's gonna go live. There's a ton of different stuff to like figure out when it comes to starting something like this, but I've got a good response. Mike had a good response.
Yeah, you guys seem to always want us to do podcasts, and every time we're around the campfire, it's like, man, this would be great on a podcast.
Right.
So we're like, maybe we just do it. We're just trying to figure out like if we should fall into some kind of specific topic, you know, like try and find a niche, or just talk about whatever we want. And like, what would our name be?
Yeah. So that's kind of where our heads are at right now. And man, I just have like so much gear. This is kind of overwhelming, but I want to talk about the hub tent. I want to talk about the ready lights and the fridge, the campfire. I've heard some mixed things last time I mentioned this, and I don't know if you guys want to see a video on that, but start a discussion down below. Let me know if you guys want to see like dedicated videos on any of this stuff. This is way too much gear for me. I like have anxiety because I have all of this stuff out here. Meanwhile, Mike's got his Diamondback over there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be a little colder than you, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, I turned my diesel heater on. I actually put the small ready light in the tent over there, so I guess we'll turn off the fire and we can go in and check that stuff out.
yeah, I was like, Colin, grab that diesel heater and blow it into my bed.
Just stick it in the Diamondback for a couple minutes. That's all she wrote. I will see you in the morning.
All right, see you in the morning.
Let's go check out the hub tent. Oh man, it is so bright in here. Now this tent has so much space that it feels really empty in here, because it is. I realized I didn't bring a battery source good enough to keep the LED light strip powered, but you could just throw a battery in this pocket over here. So this kind of wraps around. Since I don't have a battery for that, I just have the little ready light over here, which splits off. So you can have 2 lights, or on the bigger version, you can have 3. Diesel heater is on and pumping. This is really weird to me, sleeping in a giant tent, because I'm so used to a rooftop tent, but I have the heater up a little bit higher than I would in my rooftop tent because there's obviously more space to heat. I can already tell that it's warmer in here than it is just outside. You got the tri-layer, it's blocking the wind. But since it's just me in here, I think I'm gonna preheat my sleeping bag with this diesel heater hose. Just gonna pump a bunch of hot air into that while I get ready for sleep. I'm gonna hit these lights now. We are hopefully in for a pretty uneventful night. I definitely feel safer sleeping up on top of my truck, elevated in the air, although it's not much different than being down here on the ground, but wildlife could definitely walk right up to my tent, sniff all around. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, hopefully I can turn my camera on fast enough. I'm gonna try to sleep, try to stay warm, and I will talk to you guys in the morning. Yo. Good morning, everyone. I got some pretty decent sleep in the hub tent last night. I woke up once, maybe around 3:30, heard a little bit of wind and stuff like that, but the little mattress on the ground, sleeping bag and everything, worked out okay. This morning, as soon as the sun came up, it's coming up right here. It hit the corner of the roof of my little tent and it just completely lit the whole thing up. So that's one point to my rooftop tent. That thing is blackout, whereas this lets a bunch of light in, but some people might prefer that. So that was the worst part of this whole thing, is actually cleaning everything up, but got everything packed. I just need to organize it underneath my Diamondback now. Mike has been ready to hit the road for an hour now. So he's gonna leave. I'll see you when I see you. Podcast next week, maybe?
Dude, podcast next week. Let's do it.
Make it happen.
All right, man.
Drive safe.
It was fun.
Well, it's about 9:30 in the morning and I'm heading out of the mountains. I got a lot of work done. I was basically filming a lot of product related stuff, some of the stuff that you guys saw today, in order to test the things and incorporate them in a future video. So I just kind of wanted to throw this random video into the mix since Mike and I were out camping and hanging out anyway. I wanted to show you one of the many ways you can camp without a rooftop tent. I'm a big fan of the hub tent. I probably wouldn't want to run a setup like this full time just because it is a lot of work. There's a lot of extra gear that you have to bring with you, set up, tear down, and things like that. It's simply not as easy as using a rooftop tent. But if I ever go to a campsite where I plan on spending a few days, the hub tent is a great addition because it gives you a place to hang out with your family and your friends. The new version of the hub tent coming in tri-layer gives you some insulation as well. I stayed pretty dang warm all night last night. And I think the more you use a setup like the hub tent, the more kind of dialed in you could get it. Or you could do what Mike did and just sleep under a Diamondback cover. So that's always an option too. I still owe you guys some of these like one-off random camping gear videos. Last year I actually did a $100 Walmart camping trip, and I also bought $100 worth of camping gear off of Amazon, basically everything I need for a night out. And I need to bring you guys that video sooner than later because it's gonna be getting pretty cold here. If this video can get to, let's say, 1,000 likes, I will make that video happen, hopefully before winter time. So that is all that I had for today. If you guys have any questions on the products that you saw, I'll leave some links down below. And if you want to know any specifics on the gear, I'm going to be bringing you guys some dedicated gear videos here in the future. So that is all. If you are new to the channel, consider clicking subscribe because I make new videos every single week. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.